in my domain, got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over for the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory.
Chase race number 8 of season 6 of the NNSCRA Hersheys Cup Series rolls into your living room as we get ready to cap off our race weekend from the Talladega Super Speedway. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue on round 3 of the playoffs, whittling it down from our Elite 8 down to our Final 4. This is the second race of the third round of the playoffs, Talladega Super Speedway, and everyone calls it a wild card race. It's a track that usually caters to the underdog. It's all about positioning yourself, but how do you position yourself in the right spot at the right time on the final lap at the drop of the green flag? It's almost kind of a whole draw kind of thing. You just have to be lucky sometimes, drivers say. We'll see if one of our 8 playoff contenders will be lucky here today, because last week at Michigan, some drivers did well, some drivers didn't do well, but none of our 8 playoff contenders won that race, which means at this point in time, nobody is locked into the Final 4 at Auto Club. But if one of our 8 playoff contenders go to victory lane here today, they're in the Final 4 regardless of what happens next week at Homestead Miami Speedway. Now, this is the second season that we have kind of flip-flopped 2 race weekends. Back from season 1 to season 4, we had Talladega as the next to last race of the season, with Homestead Miami being the one that led up to that race. But we flipped those 2 weekends. Now Talladega leads up to our elimination race at Homestead. We did that last year, and we're doing that this year, making it a little bit crazier in the middle of this round and making it more of an X factor as well in who is going to be one of those Final 4 to compete for the championship in our finale. Now, if you didn't tune into our Pixa X Series race here yesterday, you're probably going to want to, because I still hold to what I said yesterday. I think that was maybe one of the most volatile Talladega races I have ever run. And we've run Talladega quite a bit here on this channel, but a lot of wild wrecks. We had a car hit an area of the track I've never seen hit before, that inside safer barrier on the back straightaway where it juts out for that access road in the infield. We had Aubrey Edelstein hit that, fly back up over the rest of the field. Never seen that before. We had several cars barrel rolling. Question is, what side of the spectrum does this race hit today? Will it be a wreck fest? Will we see the caution more than the green? Or will we see a fuel strategy race where these drivers may have to pit at least twice under green flag conditions? It's going to be interesting to see as Dylan Young lines up on the pole position for this race. He's looking for his 3rd win of the season. Dylan Young's been on a big run as of late with good finishes that just came a little too late for him, where he wasn't able to make it into the playoffs. He's now up to 25th in points, so he's in the top 3rd in standings, but doesn't help as far as the playoffs are concerned. Alongside of him, points leader in the playoffs, J Baskinger. Let's go down and get those most famous words.
Drivers, start your engines.
And you can take a look down in the description below for the official starting lineup for today's race and see where the 8 remaining playoff drivers will be starting today's 29-lap event. We've got 3 playoff contenders, like I see up here inside the top 5. Baskinger 2nd, Fitzwater in 4th, and Brooke Allen in 5th. But where do these drivers come in the point standings? Let's give you your top 8 in the point standings coming into today's race, presented by Golden Corral. Jake Baskinger had the best day last week at Michigan. He comes into this race as the points leader, lined up on the outside of the front row. 15 points in hand, back to 2nd in standings, Dallas McIntosh, our Daytona 500 winner. Benjamin Miles is 3rd in points. He's 17 points back, a former winner of this weekend. And the 4th position in points, that critical spot, is currently held by the rookie R.J. Reynolds. Reynolds would be the cutoff line, so 5th in the points, Tim Walsh. He's only 5 points behind R.J. Reynolds coming into this one. Trent Dunham, the defending champion, is 6th in points. He is 7 points back from the cut line. Only 10 points back from the cut line. 7th in the standings, Zachary Fitzwater, and only 11 points back is 8th in the standings, Brooke Allan. We see rolling off from 5th. She is 33 points back from the points lead, only 33 points separation between the top 8. If you're looking at drivers ahead of the cut line, you've got Baskinger 22 points ahead of the cut line, Dallas McIntosh 7 points ahead of the cut line, and Benjamin Miles 5 points ahead of the cut line. We mentioned that Benjamin Miles is a former winner of this weekend back in Season 3. Other former winners of the weekend, Ryan Madden won the inaugural second Talladega race back in Season 1. Charles Sandfer taking the checkered flag back in Season 2 and 4. He's a 2-time winner at this weekend, 3-time winner at Talladega overall. And the defending winner of this race, the 11 of James Richardson. We'll see if he can have lightning strike twice for 2 seasons in a row. But here we go. Dylan Young, Jake Baskinger lead us down. Green flags in the air. Chase race number 8 is underway. Let's roll. This is, I believe, the first season that we actually are having our first race at Talladega here late in the season. Of course, we normally go to Talladega twice, but this year we went to Bump Draft and Super Speedway during the weekend that the first Talladega race would take place. So this is actually the first time these drivers have hit Talladega Super Speedway this season, as Brooke Allan to the inside for the race lead would love to be able to get a bonus point for leading a lap. That would certainly help her in her quest to get out of the cellar of the Elite 8 and up somewhere into the Final 4. 4 wide there, middle of the pack, almost 5 wide it looked like for a brief moment there, around 10th, 11th, 12th place. They can hold 4 wide here as long as they give room, and a big problem when they're 4 wide is over in turn 3 where they're all trying to congest together to get into the corner. So we'll see if they're able to hold 4 wide. They're 4 wide, 2 rows deep back there, make it 3 rows deep as now Fitzwater makes a 3rd lane. Brooke Allan now has her teammates with her. Joshua Collard there in the 33, and right behind him is the 4 of Daniel Gilbert. So all 3 of the Michael Norman Motorsports cars at the front, and they're all going to go 3 wide for the race lead. Gilbert, Collard, and Allen. Daniel Gilbert looking for his first win since Indianapolis of last year when he was a playoff contender, trying to lead this lap. Alex Drayton behind him. Johnny Gardner is now 3 wide for second. That's Cody Smart in the 12 behind them. And he's bringing a fellow Ford, R.J. Reynolds, in the 69. Now, the last time that we were at a super speedway was Madrid, and R.J. Reynolds just barely squeaked his way into the Elite 8. Trouble! Trouble in turn 1. The big one maybe has taken place because that was right in the middle of the field. We've got cars still up in the wall, and we're racing back to our first yellow flag of the day. But going back to Reynolds, just barely squeaked into the Elite 8 at Madrid. We're at another super speedway, and he comes in another critical position in points, 4th in the standings. We've got another wreck. This one involving Alex Drayton, this time in turn 3. So 2 wrecks on the same lap, as we were already under caution. We're even more so now. Daniel Gilbert leading Emmanuel Hartnett. Looks like he's not going to get a challenge, and Gilbert will lead us to our first caution of the day. 2 wrecks, 2 different sides of the racetrack, and I'm not certain what playoff contenders may have been caught up in this. If it's any drivers that had trouble last week at Michigan, they may find themselves going into Homestead next week in a must-win situation. You saw the smoke lingering there in turn 1 with a few set of skid marks. I see black smoke lingering over in turn 3, which tells me that some drivers have taken some pretty hard licks in what could very well be 2 big ones here on the same lap, lap 3. Let's now look and see who was involved in the wrecks. And the black smoke we saw is coming from the 99 of Levi McIntyre, so his day comes to an early end. Shane Lake in the GMAC Chevrolet Camaro, he's going to come to pit road, and a lot of others on pit road, and I see some playoff contenders. The 14 of McIntosh, 15 of Walsh, 59 of Fitzwater, and McIntosh is out of the race. I saw Poteet on pit road. We've got Anderson, Voyles, Alvarise, Benny Watson, who won the last time we were at a super speedway at Madrid. Keith Batson just pulled into the pit road, and it looks like he's gone behind the wall. We know McIntosh is out, and there is Walsh and Fitzwater. McIntosh was 2nd in points, Walsh was 5th, Fitzwater was 7th coming into this race, as we've got, looks like everybody coming to pit road here under this caution. So apparently taking the opportunity to pit under yellow rather than under green, but I think that this is not going to at least put them in their fuel window to make it the rest of the way. They'll have to pit at least one more time, maybe twice, but for now, as they're making these pit stops, let's go back and take a look at what happened. First in turn 1 and then over in turn 3. Now, best way to know is using our helicopter cam here, and looks like the contact, oh, right there. James Richardson gets Zachary Fitzwater in the left rear quarter. And then Fitzwater into teammate Jordan Anderson. There's Keith Batson involved. I think that's L Alvarise up and on his side. Shane Lake, and boy, there was another playoff contender involved right there who's starting the outside of the front row. 38 of J Baskinger caught up in this one along with T Walch. I think that's Kev Shearer up there maybe getting some damage as he made contact with Fitzwater, and D Poteet also there. And then McIntosh takes a shot right there as well into Keith Batson, but he already had front end damage. So we had, in that wreck right there alone, we had 4 of our playoff contenders involved. Walsh, Fitzwater, McIntosh, and Baskinger. Oh, and then Shane Lake just drove straight into the door of D Poteet and then gets hit by Dallas McIntosh. And something happens further up here with Watson, Voyles, McIntire, and company. Did they get into the 08 of Alvarez, who was up on his side? Oh, no, this was a follow-up wreck. This is one difficulty drivers have here at super speedways. They go down on the apron, then they try and merge back up, and Voyles tried to come up in front of Benny Watson, and Watson was already there. Look at how hard a hit Voyles took straight up into the safer barrier, and nowhere for Watson or McIntyre to go as they both got swept up in that as well. And you see the 34 of Kev Shearer back there split the gap between Zachary Fitzwater and the upside down 08 of L Alvarise. Then he's going to turn dead right to try and go to the high side to avoid here, too. I don't think Kev got a whole lot of damage. He got a little bit of front-end damage. I think he got into Fitzwater. And look at Alvarez still on his roof. I don't think that car actually came back onto its wheels. Maybe here. Oh, and then McIntyre gets flipped upside down as well. So that explains why his car was spewing black smoke. Alvarez still upside down there. You see Voyles after that head-on collision to the safer barrier. His day is done. And then as they're down here into turn 1, let's see what happens here. Or I'm sorry, not turn 1, turn 3. Let's see where this might start. Trying to see who could have triggered this wreck. I'm looking back here, Benjamin Miles, Brooke Allen in that middle there, the blue and red cars. They might have been the ones that started because they're not giving each other a whole lot of room. And watch the green car to their outside there. I think we're focused on him, Alex Drayton. I think he's the car I saw get out of shape. There you go, right there. Benjamin Miles crowded Brooke Allen up the track. Alex Drayton nowhere to go. And Joshua Collard's going to get involved as well. So there's another playoff, 2 playoff contenders there. Miles and Allen. McCrury's going to get a piece of it with his right front. He also goes up at Alex Drayton and maybe getting a little piece of that as well. Might have been Brandon Gonzales. So out of our 8 playoff contenders, the only drivers that I think didn't get any damage at all potentially were R Reynolds and Trent Dunham. Everybody else got involved in some way or another, whether it be major contact or minimal contact, but the fact remains at least 6 of our 8 playoff contenders were involved in 2 different wrecks here on the same lap at Talladega. Lights are out atop the pace car. Visually, it looks like our field is a good size smaller than it was when we took the green. Let's take a look for the official retirees out of the race. Yeah, only 28 cars are still running. Out of the race, the cars of Anthony McCrury, Alex Drayton, J Baskinger, 31st for the guy who came in the points leader. Also out Shane Lake, L Alvarise, Keith Batson, Jordan Anderson, Zachary Fitzwater. This is not the performance they needed coming to this race. Outside the cut line, 7th in the points, 36 is where he'll finish. T Walch will finish 37th. He came into this race 5th in the point standings. Levi McIntire is out. Dallas McIntosh, who came in 2nd in points, is out of the race, along with Benny Watson, D Poteet, and Daniel Voyles. So that is 4 of our playoff contenders who came in 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 7th in the point standings. I think Talladega is definitely shaking the point standings up here as the green flag's back in the air. Daniel Gilbert won the battle off pit road, restarts as the leader, but may not hold on to it for long. Here comes J.T. Bryant to the bottom of 22. Now for the 4 remaining playoff contenders that are still in this race, let's see where they all restarted. R.J. Reynolds the highest in 11th, Trent Dunham in 16th. Those were the only 2 that I didn't see get any damage whatsoever under that caution. And then you've got Benjamin Miles back in 26th, and Brooke Allan, last car on the lead lap, in 28th. Daniel Hartnett now takes the top spot. So a couple of drivers that could really cash in on this. One of them, Benjamin Miles, the other, R Reynolds, 3rd and 4th in points. Top 2 in the point stands coming in this race are in the garage area, so big opportunity for either one of them. You got Trent Dunham as well as Brooke Allan. They came in 6th and 8th in points. Big opportunity for them to race their way back into the Final Four and set themselves up for a good run next week at Homestead. Jessica Shelton now to the inside, looking for her 3rd win of the season. R Reynolds there in the 69. Now remember, the only playoff contender that has led a lap so far today was Brooke Allan. Reynolds would like to counter that, but now he's got Cody Smart to his inside, and here comes the one of Trent Dunham. I thought Trent was going to follow Cody Smart, but he got shuffled to the middle by Chris Dodd in the 88. A couple of former champions there. Now, we gave you the drivers coming into this race that had previously won at this event, the 2nd Talladega race. There are some drivers in this field that had previously won at Talladega as well, but it was in the 1st Talladega event, and who won that battle between Shelton and Cody Smart? That was a drag race in the line for sure, and they're saying it was Shelton by mere inches. But if you go back to see other former winners of this event from the 1st Talladega race, Jeremy Jones was a winner there, but he's not in this field. But Charles Sandfer, one of his 3 Talladega wins came during the 1st Talladega race of the season. Cole Baker is a former winner of this event. He's up in this lead pack, actually 2nd on that inside line there. You see the Navy colors there on his 18. Matt Haas, a former Hersheys Cup Series champion in his own right, ended up winning a race here at Talladega, and the defending champion, Trent Dunham, won the Talladega race last year, the 1st Talladega race of the season, so he knows how to get around this super speedway. Joshua Ciculli now out in front as they're still 4 wide back there, apparently not learning their lesson, wanting to still go for it. Right in the middle of all of that is the 69 of R Reynolds as well as Trent Dunham. They're in the 3rd lane right now, and Trent gets turned around, collects up some more drivers. That's Kat Batson, the 70, Daniel Gilbert in the 4. Caution out again, I believe. No caution. We're still green. Dunham, Batson, and Gilbert all get together, but no caution comes out for that. Kat Batson continues on. Gilbert does as well, and does Trent Dunham. But all of them have lost the lead pack, and now Benjamin Miles and Brooke Allan, Joshua Collard trying to get by the 4 of Daniel Gilbert. That's for position, and this is actually for position right here between a couple playoff contenders. Allan in the 3, Miles in the 25, who both made contact with each other, bringing out the 2nd wreck under caution over in turn 3. So you got to wonder how these two are going to race each other. Right now, Brooke Allan's got the most to lose. Benjamin Miles is 3rd in points. Allan is 8th in the points. You see the smoke lingering there from the wreck that we had on the previous lap, but it did not bring out a yellow flag. Meanwhile, up front, still Joshua Ciculli in the 73 showing the way. It's been a long time since he's been to victory lane. I remember back to Hersheys Cup Series, I think it was either season 1 or 2, when he drove the number 47. It was a non-chartered ride at the time. He went to victory lane twice. I remember one of those wins being at the short track of Martinsville, and that was enough for him to pick up a charter, and I believe he won 3 races in that season. As I said, it's been a long time since we've seen Joshua Ciculli go to victory lane at a Hersheys Cup Series event. Trying to get it done here today. Dylan Young riding behind him, and wow, we got some aggressive movers back there behind Kyle Matthews. J.T. Bryant and R.J. Reynolds both kind of made some evasive moves to the left. Kyle Matthews, been a while since we've seen him go to victory lane. He hasn't won since, I think it was last year, I want to say. It was at Richmond last year, if memory serves me correctly. Maybe it was further back than that. See Jessica Shelton there in the 0-2. We haven't talked much about it. I don't think we really documented a lot about it last week, but we kind of should with only 3 races, including this one remaining in the season. The drivers right now in the danger zone of losing their charters for next season would be Leon Alvarise, Jessica Shelton, Kat Batson, Joshua Ciculli, and Blaine Keys. Now, it still is really close from about maybe 29th in points Cody Smart back to 40th in standings Kat Batson is only a separation of about 80 points, which can easily be made up in 3 races. So nobody is safe that's outside the top 30 in points right now of knowing for certain they're going to keep their charter for next season. So with Shelton running up here, Ciculli running up here, Cody Smart running up here, you've got some contenders in that group that know they need a good run to keep their charters. And with a lot of drivers having some bad luck and retiring out of the race early in this one, perfect opportunity to come away with a good finish and pick up some very valuable points. Now I noticed near the rear of this pack is the defending winner of this race, the 11 of James Richardson. Now he got a little bit of damage from the incident in turn 3 under the caution, but it looks like he still's with the lead pack, so we'll see if he's able to hang with these guys. Kyle Matthews, James McCloud may have lost the draft as well. Charles Sandfer, 3-time winner at Talladega. Once in the spring, twice in the fall. Trying to go to Talladega victory lane for an unprecedented 4th time in his Hershey Cup Series career. The only driver to have gone to victory lane twice in the fall race. Didn't get an opportunity in the spring race because we didn't go to Talladega earlier on this year. 4 wide at the front. Hartnett, Gardner, Smart, and Reynolds. No love for the playoff driver. He got kicked way up to the wall. As now Hartnett will go to the race lead. Now here comes JT Bryant, and Brandon Gonzales looks to make it 3 wide. They'll race to the line. Which line's going to win out? Looks like the inside line's lined up a lot better. And Gonzales by half a car length will lead that lap. Now, I'm not sure what the fuel window is for these drivers, but we have gone back green flag racing and so far have not had the caution to save these drivers, which means these drivers are going to have to start planning for green flag pit stops here pretty soon, I would think. They cannot make it the rest of the way on fuel. That is for absolute certain. Question is, when do they come to pit road, or will they have a caution to save them? I think they would rather have a caution and pit under yellow, just as long as they are not the reason for the caution coming out. We almost had a caution, but it didn't come out after that wreck that took place with Trent Dunham, Daniel Gilbert, and Kat Batson. Speaking of Kat, there she is in the 70. I think she may have actually come to pit road. No, she still got that damage on the right side. If she'd come to pit road, that damage would have been fixed. And she's only a couple of turns ahead of these drivers. As she exits turn 2, they enter turn 1. So we could have slower traffic play havoc with this lead group momentarily. Sean Gallighan now to the race lead. Gallighan picking up his first win of the season at the dirt track of Oswego, looking for win number 2. Seth Cole Baker Motorsports has won here at Talladega, but only once. That was Cole Baker back in the spring race in season 3. Gallighan has never won at Talladega in Hershey's Cup Series competition. As who's on that inside line there? A couple Camaros. Lane Keys, the 42, Kyle Keith, the 29. Both of their last career wins in the NNSCRA coming at Super Speedways. Kyle Keith last year in the Pizza Hut X Series as the caution's out. Pizza Hut X Series at Daytona, and Blaine Keys back in the Hershey's Cup Series last year at M&M Super Speedway, but I believe the caution is out. I heard a wreck. Yep. Caution flags waving, lights are out and on the pace car, and that's a big break for Kat Batson. We'll see if she can beat these drivers back to the start-finish line. As now Kyle Keith goes for the top position on Sean Gallighan. And I'll tell you who this is going to be a really big break for. That's Trent Dunham. Oh, Kat, you got to throw the block here. Oh, she tried. Oh, door bang in the 29, but she's going to fall a lap down before they reach the line. So she'll be off the lead lap now, and Kyle Keith leads us to our second caution of the day. Wreck taking place in turn 1. And it looks like James McCloud was involved, which really surprises me because he had lost the lead pack and was running by himself. It's amazing he didn't make it through the wreck. Charles Sandfer and Cole Baker, a couple former Talladega winners involved in this one. And there's the car that this may have just helped out Trent Dunham, although he does have some left side damage, so I don't know if that's going to hinder him at all speed-wise. But with our second caution of the day, coming out here on lap 19. I think these drivers can all come to pit road now and be good to go the rest of the way on fuel, so a very timely caution for them. Takes the weight off the mind of their crew chiefs, but now this is the money stop, so we will not go and look at a replay just yet, because this could be the pit stop that's going to determine the winner of today's race. And why are they not pitting? Kyle Matthews and Elijah Gilbert are coming to pit road. The smart money's on them right now. JT Bryant's in as well. I don't think these guys that are staying out, I think they're thinking maybe we got enough fuel to clutch and make it, but I would highly disagree with that. Richardson, Trent Dunham are in. I saw B Allan hit pit road along with Gilbert, Baker, Sandfer, although they were involved in the wreck, and you saw Gilbert topping off the fuel tank. Looks like Richardson's going to do the same. Trent Dunham. These guys right here, I think, have made the smartest move. I mean, why run out of fuel? It just doesn't make sense. Matthews down and away. They actually repaired a little bit of right side damage on his race car. Looks like he's going to get off pit road first of the drivers that hit pit road. And I just noticed as well, the 2 of Dylan Young was on pit lane. Our pole sitter got involved in this wreck, it looks like. But I highly question all these drivers deciding to stay out here. I don't understand this. I don't think they're going to have enough fuel to make it, even if they clutch. We could have some drivers having to make some very unexpected pit stops in the closing stages here. But for now, let's take a look at a replay of what brought out the second yellow of the day with less than 10 to go. Now let's see who makes the initial contact. Oh, it's between Cole Baker and Chris Dodd. Dodd's up into J Arndt. Dylan Young gets squeezed up into the wall, and 2 tires up on top of the safer barrier. And I see Sandfer collected in that. And I believe that might be Cole Baker as well there in the 18. It is. Now, where does McCloud come into view? There he is, bottom left of your screen. He went to the apron to avoid. Baker's car drifted down into his lane. Nowhere for McCloud to go as he clobbers into the back of the U.S. Navy Chevrolet SS. Boy, Dylan Young was looking like he was going to have a good run. Sandfer, Baker, a lot of these guys were looking like they were going to have really good runs. And now they find themselves damaged in the closing stages. And it looked like Dylan Young, they're trying to repair that race car. But after that wild ride he just took, his day may be over. Alright, now we still have these risk takers up at the front, but we did have a couple of drivers make the smart move, come to pit road. They gave up some track position, but it may help them in the long run. We saw those drivers hit pit road before. We also, on the lap after, had Sean Gallighan, Jessica Shelton, and Joshua Collard all hit pit road. Collard is just now leaving pit lane. I think Johnny Gardner also was on pit road. So right now, the drivers that are out there, their last stop taking place under our first caution back, I think it was around lap 4 or 5, are Kyle Keith, Joshua Ciculli, Cody Smart, R Reynolds, Emmanuel Hartnett, Blaine Keys, Brandon Gonzales, Chris Dodd, J Arndt, Joseph Srigley. That's your top 10. Kev Shearer, Benjamin Miles. Those top 12 all did not come to pit road. Kyle Matthews was the first to hit pit road, restarts 13th. And there you see some other drivers coming to pit road. J Arndt and Joseph Srigley. They can't make it. But you've got Gilbert 14th. 15th is JT Bryant. Richardson 16th. Trent Dunham, we'll see if that caution saved him. He's 17th. 18th for B Allan. 19th Daniel Gilbert. Gallighan back now in 20th. 21st is Shelton. 22nd Gardner. 23rd Collard. And then off the lead lap, 1 lap down, Kat Batson, who restarts behind the race leader, Kyle Keith, you saw there. And Dylan Young returned back to the track. He is 2 laps down. He's out of the race after that wreck. Are Cole Baker, Charles Sandfer, and James McCloud. They'll finish 26 through 28. And now we have to see, can these drivers who stayed out make it? We saw that J Arndt couldn't make it. Srigley couldn't make it. They came to pit road. Are we going to see a lot of hands waving out the window here saying, hey, we're coming to pit road, don't run us over? This is really dangerous. I do not understand the strategy of these drivers staying out. We've seen a number of drivers have to hit pit road here under caution, and there you go. Ciculli, Smart, Reynolds was one of those drivers that decided to stay out, along with Benjamin Miles, so those playoff drivers are not going to really, I think, be that thrilled that their strategy did not work out for them the way they hoped. We've still got more up here that still have to come to pit road. Hartnett, I think, is one of them. Yeah, Hartnett's out of fuel. Hartnett's falling back. He's out of fuel. The other one would be Kyle Keith. Oh! Collar just ran into the back of Hartnett. And now a lot of damage on the 33, but no caution. Where's the 29? Is he running out of fuel? He's getting caught really quickly by Kyle Matthews, who does have enough fuel to make it. T Bryant, Elijah Gilbert, and Kyle Keith's coming to pit road. Pulling down low, out of the way, and now he's coming to pit lane, as is the lap car of Kat Batson. So now, the landscape of this race has changed. You've got Matthews with the lead, Bryant in second, Elijah Gilbert looking for his third win of the season and second straight in 2 weeks. And there's Trent Dunham, the defending champion, trying to race his way into the Final Four if he can win here at Talladega. With Miles leaving pit road, there's going to be traffic for these leaders to deal with of drivers that had to come to pit lane. 88 of Chris Dodd just ahead. Then ahead of them, you've got Kev Shearer and Cody Smart. And these are drivers that are up to speed. Matthews going to go around the outside. Bryant thought about trying to find a way to use the 88 as a pick. That's going to cost him. He's now pinned behind Chris Dodd. Look at Trent Dunham now. Now he's going to get pinned on the high side. They're going to go 3 wide for second as Kyle Matthews continues to show the way. Matthews trying to play the lap traffic as best as he can. So far, so good. But now, look at the group that's behind him. Sean Gallighan, Richardson, Shelton, Gardner have joined this lead group. They're going to have a lot of speed as Kyle Matthews, he's way too out in front. He's going to get reeled in very quickly. Another driver that caution really benefited was the 4 of Daniel Gilbert, who got caught up in the same wreck as Trent Dunham. They're both now up inside this lead pack with a shot at winning this race as Gilbert, with teammate Sean Gallighan in tow. They're going to go to first and second. Here comes the defending winner, James Richardson, to the third position. You got a perfect opportunity for teammates here. You've got the 44 and the 98. You've got the 02 and the 09. But will they work together as Richardson now puts it to the inside 3 wide for the race lead? Gallighan led that lap by a splitter as we have 2 laps to go here at Talladega. Traffic looming ahead. Shearer and Smart. Don't know if this pack will catch them, but there's a lot more drivers in this pack than those 2. They very well may catch them. Here comes Johnny Gardner. He's got Trent Dunham and T Bryant in tow. They're trying to get the inside line going against James Richardson. Richardson trying to clear the 7, won't be able to do it. Here comes Gardner for the lead into turn 3. Been a long time since Johnny Gardner's gone to victory lane in a Hersheys Cup Series event. But Trent Dunham has bigger fish to fry. He wants to get into the Final Four regardless of what happens next week at Homestead. Will he push Gardner to the win, or will he go for it himself? White flag displayed. 1 more lap to go here at Talladega. Trent Dunham now gets moved to the middle, back to the bottom in front of T Bryant, trying to set up the 7. Gardner trying to hold off the defending champion of the Hersheys Cup Series. Trent can see an opportunity of getting into the Final Four to defend his championship. But can he get enough of a run on Johnny Gardner going down here into turn 3? If they catch those 2 cars ahead, that may be the difference maker. Gardner, Dunham, Richardson, Matthews, and Bryant all single file going through turns 3 and 4. Who's going to make the move out of the final corner and onto the tri-oval front straightaway? Dunham looks. Richardson goes low instead. Gardner moves low to block. Matthews moves Richardson to the middle. Gardner gets held up on the inside, but he's going to be able to hang on. Johnny Gardner, his first win in a long time. First win of the season here at Talladega. Johnny Gardner will win at Talladega Superspeedway. I want to say season 4 was the last time we saw Johnny Gardner go to victory lane. Memory escapes me as to where it was, though. I'm trying to recall it, but I can't think of it. But Johnny Gardner, a driver who's down near that danger zone of losing his charter next season, what better time to go to victory lane than right here at Talladega? Near the closing stages of this season, he had to hold off some of the best in the business to do it. Former winner of this race in James Richardson, defending champion in Trent Dunham, as well as a former champion in Kyle Matthews. And Johnny Gardner, the Golden Corral Chevy Camaro, gets it done. It's only the 2nd win of the season for Fitzwater Australia Racing in the Hersheys Cup Series. But what a win here today for that driver, and like we said, Talladega caters to the underdog, the driver you might not necessarily expect. I think Johnny Gardner would very easily fit that category. Last time Gardner went to victory lane, it was Indianapolis Motor Speedway back in Season 4. So Gardner has been riding a 2-season-plus winless streak, and it finally gets snapped here today. The official number, I believe, would be a 77 race winless streak that he just snapped here today at Talladega. Trent Dunham so close to getting an automatic ticket into the Final Four, but still a good points day for him. But how about this top 10? Johnny Gardner with the win. James Richardson so close to going 2 in a row in winning the second Talladega race of the season. Kyle Matthews so close to his first victory of the season with third. Trent Dunham, man, that second caution really saved his bacon. He was able to battle back for a 4th place. J Bryant was a player all day. He'll get 5th. Elijah Gilbert almost got back-to-back wins. He finishes 6th, though, with Sean Gallighan 7th. Jessica Shelton, a great run in 8th. And how about the teammates? Daniel Gilbert there in 9th. And Brooke Allen, who came in 8th of the playoff drivers, gets a top 10. Well-needed run for her. Ciculli led some laps. He'll finish 11th. Kyle Keith there in 12th place. These are all drivers from Ciculli on down that couldn't make it on fuel and had to pit under that last green flag run. R Reynolds finishes in 13th. We'll have to see where this situates him as he came in that critical 4th position in points with Srigley, Brandon Gonzales, Blaine Keys, John Arndt, Cody Smart, Kev Shearer last on the lead lap. Chris Dodd finishes in 20th. Benjamin Miles came into this race 3rd in points. He'll finish 21st, 1 lap down. We'll have to see where this puts him. Hartnett, 22nd. Batson and Young, 23rd and 24th. Those were the last of the drivers to finish the race. We saw Joshua Collard ran into the back of, I think it was it Kat Batson? He ran into the back of somebody. Gave himself a lot of front-end damage, and as a result, Collard finished out of the race in 25th, and everyone else behind him finishes out of the race as well. The notables, 4 of our playoff contenders: Baskinger, 31st, Fitzwater, 36th, Walsh in 37th, and McIntosh in 39th. And of those DNF drivers, they came in 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 7th in the point standings. So with some of the drivers that had good runs here today that are playoff contenders and some of the drivers that did not have good runs, we could have very close points heading into Homestead Miami Speedway. But Johnny Gardner and his team will celebrate here today as they end a 2+ season winless streak at Talladega for their first win of Season 6. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew. Today was a much tamer race here today than our Pizza X Series race was yesterday. But next week, well, first off, we'll show you your rookie points and your overall points. As we head into next week, all 3 series will set up who will be in the Final Four for each respective championship for the Tax Layer Truck Series, Pizza X Series, and Hersheys Cup Series at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And then we cap off the season. We crown ourselves new champions, or maybe old champions, depending on what the scenario may be, at the Auto Club Speedway with all 3 series season finales. So you won't want to miss out. Back-to-back weekends of trucks, Pizza Hut X Series, and Hersheys Cup Series action to finish out the year. We'll see you guys next time as you've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. See you later at Homestead.